What's up? Welcome back to the NFL 2013 playoff picks. Doing the NFC, the NFC side of the conference championship games. Um, as of right now, the New England Patriots Denver Broncos video that is uploading as I'm making this video currently. Um, of course, in this game we have the San Francisco 49ers heading to Seattle to play the Seahawks. And I apologize if I didn't mention the first game was the Broncos game that was going to be played at 3 o'clock um, p.m. Eastern time, and this game is played at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. So I just wanted to go ahead and get that out the way if I didn't already mention it for the other game. Of course, the history with these two teams in the last couple of years. There's been some real bad blood, a lot of jawing back and forth, and that makes for a great game. Um, Definitely one of the games I want to see a little bit more so than even the Denver game, honestly. Mainly because of the animosity towards these two teams. First, of course we know what's everything that's been said between the weeks. We expect a hard fought defensive game. Now, that's what you're gonna expect from these two teams. I think it's definitely what you're gonna get. Um, of course, we know the 49ers last week beat my Panthers 23-10. Really beat up on us, slowed down the offense, and well deserving of that win. What I think they need to do to win this week, um, it's gonna have to be on the back of a strong running game. Because you can't expect Kaepernick to go back, to drop back, um, 25, 30 times. He could do it around the 20s, but you can't expect him to go 30 to 35 times throwing the ball. You don't expect them to be successful against that Seattle secondary in Seattle. Um, they're gonna have to be able to run the ball effectively. I think that's key number one. Number two, they have to be able to force turnovers. For that the defensive side, they have to be able to force turnovers and pit that Seattle defense on a short field or convert those into points. They're gonna need takeaways to, in my opinion, to honestly win this game. Because they could definitely slow down that Seattle offense, who has been struggling as of late. Not in the running game, but in terms of the passing game, they have been struggling. Um, as I will talk about later, they did lose Percy Harvin. It was concussion. They already announced that he will not play in this particular game. But the keys I think for San Francisco to win is run the ball, to keep pressure off Kaepernick having to throw the ball. You can even make some runs with him to kind of mix it up. Give Seattle something else to defend. And really, I think offensively, that's what they need to do to be effective. It has to be run first. And they have to be able to run it effectively, because if you're not running effectively, there's really no point in running. You're going to have to throw at that point, um, which could cause a whole bunch of other problems. And also, as I said, defensively, they need to get some takeaways. They need to get some, not only just stop them, they need to get some takeaways and pit that Seattle defense on the short field, because it's very difficult to drive the entire length of the field on that defense. Um, from the Seattle side, last week Seattle beat New Orleans Saints, and Saints were making a possible comeback. The game ended 23-16. I apologize, 23-15. Um, as I said, Seattle's offense, outside of what Marshawn Lynch was doing, in terms of the passing game, did not look good. Hats off to that Saints defense, though. I'm not going to take away anything what that Saints defense did, but still, it is becoming a trend. We know Seattle doesn't have the best receivers. Golden Tate has had a better year than he's had in the past, but still, with Percy Harvin obviously not being there for most of the year, pretty much. It's been very tough for them to make plays in the passing game. They've always been a run first team. You got Marshawn Lynch. You got to run the ball. He ran it 28 times last week for 140 yards and 2 touchdowns, and pretty much sealed the game with the last touchdown. So you're gonna see a heavy dose of Marshawn Lynch, but it's gonna be very tough running against that San Francisco front. So they're gonna have to be able to throw the ball in the air to win this game, because that's where San Francisco is vulnerable. That strength is in that front seven. Bowman, Brooks, Patrick Willis, Justin Smith, Alden Smith. That is their strength up front. Those guys in there, they do a good job against the run. So you're gonna have to be able to throw to spread them out, get those linebackers in space. It's very difficult for that Seattle offense who are not very deep in terms of receiving core, and they really don't have the ability to, consistently spread teams out. But I think that's what they're gonna need to do to be able to win this type of game. Of course, the defense. The defense get shorter fields for their offense. Your offense has been struggling. Get turnovers. The field position game is going to be big in this game. I think special teams is pretty important for Seattle. They've been the best special teams in terms of punt coverage. I think field position definitely matters in a defensive game, where points are hard to come by. So Seattle definitely got to they've been good this year in that regard. They're gonna have to stay up to that level in terms of pinning the team back and getting good field position for that offense. So they don't have to drive on a great defense like San Francisco. Injury roundup, as I've already mentioned, Percy Harvin for Seattle. I'm going to go over the 49ers. For the 49ers, Carlos Rogers hamstring. He did not play last week. Fullback, I do not know how to say his name. I'm just gonna call him Will. Both him and Carlos Rogers are both questionable. Linebacker Amar Brooks, he has the illness. He is probable, and he had a full practice, so he probably will play. Those are the only 3 guys I see listed on the injury report. I'm pretty sure there's a lot more, little minor injuries. Seattle side, Percy Harvin is definitely the biggest one up there. One notable return is KJ Wright, who broke his foot in the last 49er game that was in San Francisco. He broke his foot. He will play in this game. Hold on. Yeah, he will play in this game. So it's definitely at that linebacker position. It's definitely going to help him, especially if he can go out there and play. Obviously, he's going to play limited because they don't want to, they don't want to wear him out. But this is the NFC Championship game, and you got to do what you got to do. And that pretty much does it for the injury breakdown. Let's see. Yeah, the notable ones that I did want to mention. Who I think is going to win this game. As I say, it's going to come down to who can get turnovers and who can convert those turnovers into points. Because it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a hard-fought defensive battle. So whoever can get the easy points, I think is going to win. I think it's going to be Seattle. Tough team to beat in Seattle. They put a real big beat down on the 49ers last time they met in Seattle. Kaepernick has not played well in Seattle, and I think he's going to have to be able to put the ball in the air. I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball effectively. They're going to have to be able to put the ball in the air, and I expect to see some turnovers. Expect a close game, though. That 49ers defense is definitely really good. They're going to keep this game close, especially against the struggling Seattle offense. But I think Seattle's going to beat them in a hard-fought defensive battle with those turnovers that I mentioned. This is definitely, I want to say, my game of the week. Um, Not too big offenses, but I think it's just, the recent history with these two teams, the fact that they're rival teams, obviously. Um, they're pretty much two of the best defensive teams in football. If you count anybody, and two of the best defensive teams in football. And I always like a good defensive battle because those are games where you fought hard, and you earn those wins. Not to say offensive game. A lot of people like to see offensive games. I like to see defensive games, a hard fought win. I guess I'm kind of old school with that. Um, but I do think Seattle's gonna win. Comment down below what you think. Do you agree with my key points? What do you think either team needs to do to win the game? Who do you think is going to win this game? Let me know down in the comment section. And as always, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Thanks for watching.